Today, we expose the slow death of one of the most cherished institutions in British life. Across England, Scotland, and Wales in 2026, the Great British Pub, the local, the boozer, the village inn that has anchored communities for centuries, is closing down at a rate that should alarm every single person who has ever called one their second home. And here's the part that should make your blood boil. According to the industry's own body, these closures are completely avoidable. The numbers are brutal, and they are accelerating. The British Beer and Pub Association has confirmed that in just the first 3 months of 2026, 161 pubs were forced to close across England, Scotland, and Wales, almost 2 every single day. That's a 26% jump compared to the same period last year, with around 2,400 jobs lost in 3 months alone. And this comes on top of a long-term collapse so severe that since the year 2000, reports estimate more than 15,000 pubs have permanently closed across the UK. The pubs that survive are hanging by a thread. A staggering 73% of pubs have less than 6 months of cash reserves available. And here's the line that captures the entire scandal. The BBPA's chief executive Emma McClarkin said it plainly. The scale of these closures is avoidable because pubs are doing a brisk trade, but their profits are wiped out by a disproportionate tax burden and huge costs. Read that carefully. The pubs aren't closing because nobody's drinking. They're closing because the government taxes them into the ground while they're full of customers. The beer is flowing, the tills are ringing, and they're still going bankrupt because the state takes more than the business can bear. We've spent days digging through British Beer and Pub Association figures, ITV and GB News reporting, Morningstar DBRS analysis, camera data, and industry insolvency reports to bring you the real picture of what's killing the British pub in 2026. It's a story of taxation, of policy failure, and of an entire way of British life being quietly extinguished. But before we get into it, if you've watched your own local shut its doors, if you work behind a bar, or if you simply believe the British pub is worth fighting for, hit that subscribe button right now. We're British Front Media, and the government would much rather you didn't connect the dots between their tax policy and your empty high street. We have you. Every subscriber, every share, every comment forces the truth higher up the algorithm. So subscribe. Drop a comment with the name of a pub you've lost. Let's expose what's really happening. The tax burden, the real killer. Let's start with the heart of the matter, because this is what the BBPA is screaming about. The British pub is one of the most heavily taxed businesses in the entire country. As CAMRA has long documented, around a third of the cost of every pint is made up of various taxes. Beer duty, VAT, and business rates stacked, on top of one another. Beer duty in the UK is among the highest in Europe. And business rates, the tax pubs pay on the value of their premises, are calculated in a way that punishes pubs far more harshly than the online retailers and supermarkets they compete against. A pub sells beer at the bar and pays sky-high rates on its prominent high street building. A supermarket sells the same beer from a vast, out-of-town shed and pays comparatively little. The playing field isn't just uneven, it's rigged. The 2025 budget hammer blow. The current crisis traces directly to the autumn 2025 budget. The hospitality sector has been struggling, in the words of industry analysts, to withstand the aftershocks of the 2025 autumn budget, as well as broader economic and legislative shocks. The increase in employer national insurance contributions and the rise in the minimum wage, both landing from the November 2025 budget, added a significant jump in business costs for pubs and brewers right across the country. For a sector where margins are measured in pennies per pint, a sudden rise in the cost of every member of staff is catastrophic. The pubs didn't get less popular. They just got more expensive to run overnight by government decree, the half measure that wasn't enough. Now, the government did respond, sort of. After warnings from the sector that further tax changes could trigger a wave of closures, ministers announced business rates support. A 15% tax relief for pubs and music venues came into effect, with pubs receiving an additional discount on their bills. But, and this is critical, that relief applies only for the 2026/27 financial year, with no commitment beyond that. It's a sticking plaster. McClarkin has called on the government to move beyond sticking plasters, warning that without a permanent, long-term commitment to business rates reform, closures will continue at this pace. A one-year discount doesn't save a business that needs to plan 5 and 10 years ahead. It just delays the funeral. Even the giants are bleeding. If you think this is just small village pubs struggling, think again. The market leader Green King, one of the biggest pub operators in the country, recently reported a loss in its finances, citing unavoidable costs, and openly criticised the unfair business rates system. As the insurance body NDML put it bluntly, if a pub business as large and popular as Green King is struggling, small and independent pubs have little hope. When the giants with economies of scale, professional finance teams, and national buying power are posting losses, the village free house run by a husband and wife team has no chance at all. The cash reserve time bomb. Here is the statistic that tells you how fragile the entire sector now is. A staggering 73% of pubs have less than 6 months of cash reserves available. Think about what that means. Nearly 3/4 of British pubs are one bad winter, one energy spike, one quiet quarter away from administration. They have no buffer, no safety net. The Iran war that began in February 2026 has pushed energy costs up again. A direct threat to the energy-intensive business of running cellars, kitchens, and heated pub spaces. For a sector with no cash cushion, a single shock can be terminal. The regional picture, who's hit hardest? The closures aren't evenly spread. The latest BBPA data shows Scotland witnessed the heaviest fall in pub numbers, while remarkably, Wales was the only part of Great Britain to report a rise in pub numbers. Historically, camera data has shown the northwest and southeast of England as the hardest hit regions, each, losing dozens of pubs in a single half year, with Greater London and the southwest close behind. Last year alone, Britain lost 336 pubs, bringing the total down to 44,656, meaning more than 2,000 pubs have closed since the COVID pandemic struck in 2020, while thousands stand empty. And here's the cruel afterlife of a closed pub. When a pub shuts, the building rarely reopens as a pub. The data shows closed pubs are converted into housing, off licenses, or residential property, if not simply demolished. The Independent reported that 366 pubs were demolished or repurposed in the 12 months to December 2025. Some are picked up by developers eyeing the land. But many simply sit there, boarded up, dark, the hanging sign still creaking in the wind, because the cost of conversion is high and the local economy is too weak to support a new use. These are the thousands of empty pubs now scattered across Britain, monuments to a tax policy that killed a thriving trade. The honest nuance, and why it deepens the scandal. I'm going to be straight with you, because that's what British front media does. Some analysts point out that the overall UK pub market, measured in pounds spent, is actually growing. Morningstar DBRS found that while pub premises fell to 41,691, down around 2% per year, the total UK pub market grew to £24.1 billion in 2025. But understand what that really means, because it doesn't soften the story, it sharpens it. The amount Britons spend in pubs is rising largely because prices are rising. People are paying more per pint while fewer pubs survive to serve them. The spending is being concentrated into bigger, corporate city centre venues, while the community local, the irreplaceable village and backstreet pub, is wiped out. It's the exact same trick we've exposed in butter, in soap, in tourism. An inflated headline number disguising the destruction of the real, traditional, valuable thing underneath. The cultural cost. This isn't just an economic story. CAMRA has long argued that pubs are valuable community assets that help combat loneliness and social isolation. When a village loses its only pub, it loses its meeting place, its quiz night, its wake venue, its first date spot. Its place where the isolated elderly man goes for his one conversation of the day. CAMRA found that 4 out of 5 people have experienced a local pub closure within 5 miles of their home in the past 5 years. The pub closure crisis is, quietly, a loneliness crisis and a community cohesion crisis dressed up as a line on a Treasury spreadsheet. why this is structural, not temporary. The forces killing the British pub are long-term and reinforcing. The tax burden, beer duty, V8, business rates, is structurally higher than almost anywhere in Europe. The 2025 budget's cost increases are permanent. Energy costs have been pushed up again by the Iran war. Younger people are drinking less. 16 to 24-year-olds are less likely to drink than any other age group. And the off-license and supermarket trade continues to undercut pubs on price because they're taxed so much more lightly. Every one of these is a structural pressure, not a passing storm. And the government's response remains a one-year sticking plaster. What this means for you? 3 things to take away. First, if you value your local, use it or lose it. The brutal arithmetic is that with 73% of pubs holding less than 6 months of cash, your custom genuinely is the margin between survival and closure. The pubs doing brisk trade are still going under on costs, but the ones with empty tables have no chance at all. Second, understand the political dimension. The BBPA is explicit that these closures are avoidable and driven by a disproportionate tax burden. If you want pubs saved, the lever is permanent business rates reform and a fairer tax treatment versus supermarkets, not vague government promises that expire after 12 months. This is a policy choice, and policy choices can be changed by pressure. Third, if you're a publican yourself, the survivors of 2026 are diversifying hard. The industry data shows pubs introducing loyalty programs, venue hire, happy hour specials, karaoke nights, and even service charges for bar orders to stay afloat. The model of simply opening the doors and pulling pints is no longer viable under the current tax regime. Adapt aggressively or join the 161. The brutal truth nobody in government will say out loud is this: the British pub is not dying because the British people stopped loving it. It's dying because it is taxed more heavily than almost any business in the country, while competing against supermarkets and online retailers that pay a fraction of the same burden. The pubs are full, the tills are ringing, and they're closing anyway. Almost 2 a day, 161 in a single quarter, 2,400 jobs gone in 3 months, because the state takes more than a thriving business can survive. That's not market forces. That's a policy decision, and every boarded-up local on every British high street is the visible proof of it. If this video opened your eyes to what's really killing the British pub, hit that subscribe button one more time. Drop a comment with the name of the pub you miss most, and subscribe to British Front Media because we're doing this every single week. New investigation, new exposé, new truth the establishment doesn't want you to hear. Until next time, read the data, question the headlines, and protect your local.